Yes, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman, Alfred.
I'm Batman.
I am Batman!
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm vengeance.
Greetings, Bat Family. Welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. Visit holybatcast.com or find Holy BatCast all over social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast and you will find us. And if you love the show, you want to help support the show, you can do that on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/holybatcast. And as always, gotta thank all of our patrons. You guys make our lives easier, happier, more joyful. You make us feel validated and important, and it's wonderful. So thank you guys for doing that. And I got to thank our latest patron, Mr. Ralph Richards. Hey, Ralph, thank you for doing that. We know you don't have to, but it does mean a lot. And yeah, very nice of you to do that. So thanks to Ralph. And again, thank you to all our patrons. That's patreon.com/holybatcast. We are part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out all the shows that are part of the network at rf4rm.com. And as always, I'm Andy DiGenova. You probably already know that. You can follow me on Twitter or on Instagram. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. On this episode, we have so much stuff to discuss. All the news. News about HBOMax, news about Wonder Woman 1984, news about Zack Snyder's Justice League because we're getting awfully close to release. Lots of news, all kinds of stuff. And so to talk with me about all this news, all this DC content, all this DC goodness, it's my DC brother from down under. It's Brendan Lowe. Hi, Brendan.
How are you, buddy?
You know, fine.
Yeah.
Eh,
Yeah, it's been a bit like that. It's been a bit of a meh week.
Yeah, every week I go, God, it's been a week, but I've been saying that like 7 weeks in a row.
You're saying it on Monday too,
I'm
which
dying.
is really messed up.
I'm dying. Today's not Monday. Today's Thursday.
No, but when you usually say it's been a hell of a week, you're saying it on a Monday.
Yeah. It's the old 30 Rock joke where it's like, some week, huh? It's like, it's Tuesday, Lemon. Yeah. That is every week for me until we get this theme park open.
Well, hopefully it won't be too much longer for you.
Oh man, I was talking to an old friend today, Wes. You know Wes Davenport, the man behind the curtain who helps with all the podcasts. I was catching up with him, and he's like, "How you doing out there?" I'm like, I'm okay, but I'm a very weird balance between grateful to be working and like so stressed out trying to get so much done before this park opens.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. But
yeah, it wouldn't be an easy job, but hey, look, someone's got to do it.
Right? Going to theme parks, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
Do what you love, they said. You'll never work a day in your life, they said.
Yeah. Do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Lies! All of you! Stop it. Oh, yeah, so fortunately I have podcasts to distract me, which is nice. It's a nice little change of pace.
It is nice.
Yeah, so
I've been
thanks.
looking forward to this today, I must admit.
Oh, that's good. I mean, I know that at least at the end of a long day I can come home to you.
Yeah.
And it's always
nice,
that.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is nice. Anyway, let's talk about stuff because you are my very special
There's a
boo.
lot of stuff.
Yeah, so many things. But because you're so special to me, you're my little partner, my little Robin. There's some really exciting news that came out a day or two ago, and you were just chomping at the bit. You already know what to ask Santa for this year, and that is the Hot Toys. Yeah. The Hot Toys release of the Batman Forever Batman and Robin.
Well, I know you've got that sort of taking the piss tone in your voice, but I also know that you actually genuinely thought they were really cool.
It's both things can be true.
Yes, exactly.
They are very cool. They are very well done. It's Hot Toys, of course they are. They're great, but also I like to make fun of you.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're doing, don't you worry. But I mean, yeah, they do look amazing. I mean, obviously the price tag. goes along with, you get what you pay for, and with Hot Toys you get like the top of the line, and they look incredible. Like, especially the Robin, because I think was it even maybe the last episode or not too long ago we were talking, if it was on, I can't remember if it was on air or not, but how it's weird with like the Funko Pops and stuff, like
they didn't do Robin,
for Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, like there's no Robin. And
yeah.
then like this Hot Toy comes along, and I mean it's I always liked that costume. I know Chris O'Donnell was old.
I mean, and he stole my part.
Character.
I was supposed to be playing Robin in that movie, and
Well, you would have been the right age for it.
yeah, I'll never forgive you, Chris O'Donnell. But if you want to come on the show, we can hash it out.
Definitely. He looks amazing. I would love to have that on my Batman Forever shelf. I'm kind of okay with the Batman because, like, I've still got my 95 Ultimate Batman, which has got him in the Sonar suit, and for a figure that's 26 years old, like, it's like I've got no complaints with that. But I would love the Robin, I must admit. He's pretty sweet. But the thing that's made me laugh so much is how, like, the attention to the cod piece.
Yeah.
Everyone's been, like, the last 24 hours or so, everyone's looking, like, paying attention to the cod piece. And I'm just like, guys, this is exactly what the costume looked like back in 1995. Like, are you just noticing this? Like,
yeah. Right?
It literally stands out like, you know what, on a dog, like, in the movie.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because I agree with you. I think the Robin one is rad. And I mean, the Batman one looks good too, but I wish he was in the Panther suit and not the Sonar suit. I'm not a huge fan of the Sonar suit, but the Panther suit is pretty rad.
It is, but I mean, they're never together when he's in the Panther suit. But
I guess
definitely
that's
hear what
true.
you're saying.
I guess that's true. But yeah, I always prefer the more traditional costume, and I do like the Panther suit in the movie. I always thought the Sonar suit was a bit much, but I get it that the Sonar suit is a little more closely related to Batman Forever, where you go, oh yeah, of course that's Batman Forever, as opposed to the Panther suit, which still looked kind of like the Keaton era.
Which is cool that the Funko Pop, speaking of them, that they did the Panther suit. They didn't do the Sonar suit.
Yeah. But anyway, so we got Batman in the Sonar suit and Robin, and they're a bargain. Batman is $255, and Robin save 10 whole bucks, $245.
Okay, so that's around a rough estimate, probably around 300 something here.
Okay,
a little bit pricey, especially with the bub on the way, but it would be nice.
Yes. They are pricey, but they are very well done, of course, and they're coming out Q2 or Q3 of 2022.
Oh wow!
So they're still still over a year away. But yeah, they're very well done. And do you remember my buddy Brian Crosby, who I used to do Batman Universe with 100 years ago?
Yes.
Yes. He's like you. He's another Batman Forever lover. And he sent this to me going, dude, I need it. And I'm like, get it. I support you. All for it.
I agree. Do it. If you got the money. Look, if I could afford it, I'd be pre-ordering them now.
Treat yourself. You're worth it. All right. Well, that's very cool. Thought it was worth a mention because, I know you were very excited about it. Now you know what to ask Santa for.
Look, I mean, it's worth a mention because they were everywhere. I was seeing so many people post about it. It was legitimate news.
Yeah, it was news. So that was exciting. That was some news, a little bit of DC happiness this year. Something that ended last year with some DC happiness was Wonder Woman 1984, and we finally got some info on how it did. Because it was released on HBOMax simultaneously in theaters where possible, and there was quite a bit of talk about, was it the right move, was it the wrong move, yada yada yada. But it was the move. And
it's finished its run on HBO Max now, hasn't it?
Yes, it's already gone.
Yes, because it was a month. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So it's off of HBO Max. It is still in theaters, and then at a certain point, it will be available for purchase. But the first bit of news is that they announced that HBO Max doubled their activated subscriber count because of the release of Wonder Woman 1984.
What a shock.
So, yeah. So they said that in September, they had 8.6 million activated subscribers. Now it is up to 17.2 million. So, yeah, they doubled their subscriber base with the release of one movie. And
I guess the promise of all the others as well would have helped.
Yeah, I'm sure that wouldn't hurt. But what's weird is that John Stankey, who is the AT&T CEO, he said the release of Wonder Woman 1984 helped drive our domestic HBOMax and HBO subscribers to more than 41 million, a full 2 years faster than our initial forecast. And is that because there is still the HBO subscribers and then HBO Max subscribers, and they're combining those numbers?
I don't know.
Okay, that's where I'm a little confused. Is because he says more than 41 million, and then they said HBO Max has their activated subscriber count went from 8.6 to 17.2. So that has to be what it means, is that 17.2 is HBO Max, all the rest are just HBO subscribers. And eventually those two things are going to have to combine. So
yeah, that makes sense.
I would say mission accomplished. Because that is, excuse me while I do some quick math here. Let's see, 17.2.
And that's continual money.
8.6 equals, yeah. Oh, so it's 8.6. So they stayed at 8.6 million times $15 a month. So that's $129 million a month of new subscribers. And so you keep those people around for 3 months, you're talking $400 million. And you're not splitting it with movie theaters. So as long as enough of those subscribers stick around, there is certainly a financial benefit to that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see them not sticking around at least for the next 12 months.
Sure.
And I mean, if Christ only knows what this time next year is going to look like, I mean, touch wood it's not, but who's to say that they won't have to do the same next year?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So... yeah, and one especially because, like we've got Godzilla versus Kong coming up, and as these big things continue to come, like, it makes sense for people to stick around on HBO Max, and yeah, I mean, that's a strong revenue stream for the company.
Yep, agreed.
And then to further support that, Nielsen did crunch some numbers on the streaming content out there, and Wonder Woman was 1984 with a bullet. And so this was for Christmas week. So it was the top streaming program the week of December 21st through the 27th. According to this report, it logged 2.25 billion minutes of watch time, which means about 15 million viewings. And this ranks it ahead of Pixar's Soul, which also debuted the same day on Disney+. They
were the numbers that impressed me.
Yeah. And so HBO Max Executive VP and General Manager Andy Forssell said, the impact of Wonder Woman 1984 on HBO Max cannot be understated. As we announced on Wednesday, and as this Nielsen data shows, it was a huge holiday gift to the consumer at a time when they wanted and needed it. This partnership with Warner Brothers, of course, continues throughout the year, but it began with Wonder Woman's arrival on Christmas Day to great success. So, yeah, I mean... it is interesting that it did significantly more than Soul did, because I saw a little bit of like, oh, will you watch Wonder Woman or will you watch Soul? And the answer is watch both. But yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I think Wonder Woman kind of stole a bit of Soul's thunder as well. I mean, it's not just because of sort of the circles and fandoms that I follow, because Disney movies and stuff generate buzz in those circles as well.
Mm-hmm.
But Wonder Woman was clearly the focus. Like,
sure, the
buzz around that was insane.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and it certainly generated a lot more conversation. Not always positive, but everybody was sort of talking about it. And Soul, I did see. I mean, because obviously I know tons of Disney fans, Disney geeks. I saw plenty of them go, "Oh, Soul was great," but like. You're right. I didn't see a lot of conversation. It was just like, oh, Soul was great.
No.
Yeah. And it was great, BT dubs. If you listen to the Real Fans Best of, I agree. I thought Soul was amazing. I liked it better than Wonder Woman 1984. But I think they were number 3 and number 2 on my end of year list. So I was very happy Christmas time.
No, it was pretty good.
But yep. So yeah, I do think, yes. I mean, I know that it's not the same as being a $1 billion hit at the box office, but it certainly seems that the strategy paid off in the ways they wanted it to. They wanted to make HBO Max, they wanted to grow that subscriber base, and it worked. People subscribed. People watched the movie. They watched the movie a lot, and yeah, now hopefully they'll stick around for what comes next.
Yeah, no reason not to, in my opinion.
Right. So, anyway, I it seems like the gamble paid off, even if not in pure dollars, but certainly in the investment in their streaming service. So, HBO Max always giving us content, giving us gifts, and they're getting ready to give us Titan season 3. Recently, we talked about the casting of Barbara Gordon for Titans, and then another piece of casting news came out last week, and I was very excited to talk about it. We are finally getting our first live-action Tim Drake.
Yes, which is very intriguing.
Yeah. So it's crazy to me, but like in the best possible way, that Titans gave me an amazing Dick Grayson. Then they gave me a really perfect Jason Todd, and now they're already working on getting me a Tim Drake, which it was almost too much to hope for, because I was like, oh, well, you got to kill Jason Todd before you can give me a Tim Drake. But they're doing things their own way, and I'm so excited to finally get Tim Drake in live action, because, yeah, it seems like he's often the odd Robin out these days, and I love that they're following it, chronologically, and they're giving us one Robin after another.
No, I definitely agree. Like, sadly, since Damien came along, Tim has kind of been forgotten, which is really shit, because after Dick, he's my favorite Robin. He's fantastic. So yeah, it's really cool that we're going to get to see another Robin in live action. This is obviously the first time this has happened for Tim Drake. Yeah, I'm really psyched.
Yeah,
I mean, I love that show anyway. And
me too. Yeah,
it's true. You said, like, Dick Grayson has been amazing. Jason Todd is, the little shit that he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But you also kind of feel for him at the same time. Like,
yeah, like, honestly,
they do a
that's
really
why
good
Jason
job.
Todd's so perfect, is because he's angry and he's troubled and he's a problem, but the actor does a good job of you still like him just enough. And I love that.
Yes.
And then Tim Drake. So this actor, his name is Jay Lycurgo. Jay Lycurgo. That sounds good to me. Sorry, Jay, if I got that wrong. But yeah, so he looks familiar. He is in the trailer for The Batman as one of those painted face thugs. The one who's looking very, very afraid and very teary-eyed when Batman delivers that beatdown. So what I love is
He's got Batman pedigree.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's in Gotham, might as well come be on Titans too. But when the trailer came out, because they zoned in on this kid's face and he was wearing a jacket that has a red hood, there were fans who were like, "Hey, do you think that's Jason Todd?" And I was like, "No, I think it's some gang member who's afraid of Batman. I don't think it's a Robin, But that speculation was out there, and it's like the Titans people went, "Oh, well then we'll just make him a Robin. That's fine. We like that. We love that idea. Great. Hey kid, come over here. You're gonna be Tim Drake."
No, I'm all for it.
But no, I mean, yeah, me too. He seems really excited about it. I'm into it. Again, I love the idea of getting Tim Drake. He is mixed race, and so of course there was a little section of horrible people who had issue with that. But
see, I was literally about to say that, like, they've obviously cast a person of color in the role, and I honestly, I hadn't seen any backlash about it.
I just saw enough. Fortunately, I didn't see a lot of it because I tend to try to only follow nice people. But I saw enough of it where, like, nice people were trying to defend against less nice people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't see any of it, so I'm happy for me that I genuinely thought there wasn't any, but of course that's probably too good to be true. But no, it's certainly, if there has been any, it hasn't been, the song and dance that you see for other things all the time.
Well, and the reason I saw part of the reason I saw it is because Ryan Potter, who plays Beast Boy, he tweeted out something supportive because he is also mixed race.
Uh-huh.
And so he tweeted out something kind of supporting, basically being like, hey, like, we often aren't given opportunities because we're mixed race, and there are a lot of roles that, like, don't call for that. And he's like, I think Jay's going to do great and everything. And if you remember Ryan Potter, he put together that, like, homemade audition to play Tim Drake once upon a time.
Well, I've always thought he would have been a good Robin as well. Like,
oh, totally.
Mixed race has got nothing to do with it. Like, he'd be a great Robin.
Yeah, so he kind of was supporting Jay, and that's again where I was like, oh, what's going on? And of course, there's people who have an issue with the race issue. But for me, doesn't matter to me. I think that's great.
Yeah, bring it on. I just want that show now.
Yeah. So it's filming in Toronto now, but we still don't have a release date for season 3, but I'm psyched about it. Tim Drake, welcome to Titans. Live action Tim Drake. It's been a long time coming. So HBOMax gives us that. Also, apparently, HBOMax is going into the business of podcasts.
Yeah, this only broke earlier today.
And I'm like,
when I woke up this morning, it was news.
I'm like, HBOMax, stay in your lane. I got this covered. You don't come play in my kitchen. I don't release streaming movies. You don't come release podcasts.
Although it'd be
who do you
great
think
for
you
to
are?
release streaming movies.
I should. Well, I mean, I do, but like, you need the password. You have to pay for it. Okay. So anyway, they are getting into podcasts.
Like, OnlyFans doesn't count as a streaming movie, Andy.
I count it. Anyway, so there is a Batman podcast coming from HBO Max. It is going to be called Batman: The Audio Adventures. It's apparently a comedic take on the property. And Jeffrey Wright, speaking of like keeping it in the Bat family, Jeffrey Wright, who is going to be playing Commissioner Gordon in The Batman, he is going to be voicing Batman himself in this podcast, which is super fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So this has been written and directed by Dennis McNicholas, who is a writer on Saturday Night Live, which makes sense because if you look at the cast list, it's a lot of SNL folks. So this is the all-star cast. Are you ready?
Hit me.
Okay. Chris Parnell, Melissa Villaseñor, Seth Meyers, Brent Spiner, John Leguizamo, Ike Barinholtz, Bobby Moynihan, Kenan Thompson, Rosario Dawson, Jason Sudeikis, Alan Tudyk, Heidi Gardner, Brooke Shields, Paul Scheer, Tim Meadows, Fred Armisen, Ray Wise, Ben Rogers, Katie Rich, Pete Schultz, Paula Pell, Toby Huss, and McNicholas himself.
Man, are they covering every character in Gotham?
That's a lot of people. But...
And there's a lot of name people in there too.
Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense because it's really easy to get someone to call into Skype and record a podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
So these people only don't have to free up that much time to do it for their old pal, you know? Yeah.
There's a few like DC, voice actors from the past in there too.
Good old Alan Tudyk, man.
Brooke Shields, she voiced Lois Lane, I think, in one of the animated movies.
That sounds familiar. Rosario Dawson's Wonder Woman multiple times.
Oh yeah, and plus other things I think as well, like
Ike Barinholtz.
I mean, she's still the current Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Ike Barinholtz was in Suicide Squad. Brent Spiner was in Star Trek, Gotham City.
Actually, he has voiced something.
He was the Joker.
Sure he has.
He was the Joker in Young Justice.
Right.
I think he was
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew he'd done something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's a lot of talent there, so I'm looking forward to seeing what this will be like. I mean, I'm not opposed to a comedic take on the character. Like I love Harley Quinn, so
I know you
Yeah.
do. I'm just still kind of offended. Like, don't, there are enough Batman podcasts, guys. We don't need another one. We don't even need this one that you're listening to now, from being honest.
But if they do theirs, then that'll give us more content to talk about on ours,
Oh, God, that's true. It's like a snake eating its own tail.
isn't it?
Oh, man. Okay, you're right. Well, anyway, very interesting. Of course, I'll check it out. And this is not the same as the Spotify one that David Goyer's working on. That's a separate thing.
Yeah, Batman Unburied. Batman Unburied.
Yeah. But yeah, this is apparently it says sometime 2021.
Awesome.
Sometime. So new content always coming. More new content is the DC animated content. So we just got a recent DC animated movie. We just got a new DC animated trailer that I have not watched yet. The Justice Society one.
Yeah, Justice Society World War II. You haven't seen it, but I will just quickly say I watched it 2 or 3 times yesterday. It's really cool.
Okay.
I do like sort of a good World War II story, and the fact that it's a DC, it's JSA doing set in World War II. I'm all about it. It looks really cool.
Nice. I will watch it. I just missed it. But yep, that's the next one coming. And they did announce they are continuing to do the DC Showcase animated shorts, which I love that they continue to do these. I think they're so cool.
This is some news that did pass me by. I'm unaware of this, so
well, there you go.
I'll
So
be
this
hearing
is
it for the first time.
This is in real time then. You can do your real time
It is.
reactions.
Right?
All right, cool. All right, so the first one is Commandy, the last boy on Earth.
Okay.
Do you remember Commandy? Do you know Commandy?
Is that from? He was in like one of the Hanna-Barbera shows, wasn't he?
Oh God, maybe
Am
he
I
was. He did show up in
am I-
Brave and the Bold at a certain point.
Okay.
He's kind of a Tarzan-like character, but with blonde hair. But he,
No, I'm thinking of somebody else.
Okay.
I think the one I'm thinking of was more of like a native Indian character. I think.
oh, that was Apache Chief.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yes.
Yeah, that's Apache Chief. Commandy, yeah, he tends to like run around with his shirt off. He's got long blonde hair. He was in Brave and the Bold. Yeah. He's like the last human, and I want to say everyone else who lives on Earth are like dog people.
Okay.
Well, you'll learn when you see the DC Showcase animated short.
I will.
Yeah, you'll learn then. But this one
Be
will,
educational for me.
yeah, it'll be released with Justice Society World War II in the spring.
Oh, don't have to wait long. Then.
Yeah, coming
Nice.
soon. The next one is The Losers.
This is the one about you and me.
Yeah, we're starring us as ourselves. Special guest star
Nice.
Jamie Drewley. I love the movie The Losers. Have you ever seen it?
I've never seen it.
Oh,
No.
It's great. It's so good,
I
and it's
should
just
check
it's
it
such a
out.
shame it didn't do better because man, it's a blast. I highly recommend it. Like if you're in the mood for like a fun, almost like a throwbacky action movie, but with just a little bit of DC in there, like The Losers is awesome.
Yeah, it's something that I have been meaning to watch for years, obviously, because it's not a new movie. But I just it's even been in my queue more than once. But I'll just go, and then there'll be something else that'll kind of edge it out. But yeah, I should get around to watching it properly.
Yeah, it's awesome. But anyway, I only know the movie. I don't know the comic. So I will be very curious to see this animated short to see like what the more comic booky version of these characters is because I only know the movie and I don't know if the movie is faithful, if it's not, I have no idea.
This could be way off, but just with the popularity of The Boys the last couple of years, do you think that could be part of the reason why Because I mean, the losers. I mean, I'm not saying they're similar in terms of what they actually are, but just sort of from the outside looking in, if you saw a poster of the boys and a poster of the losers, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Maybe.
Like,
It's just the losers aren't really superheroes. They're more like, honestly, they're kind of, I want to say they're kind of like the A-Team. Like, they're like fugitives, but they go out and do like good things.
fair enough.
Because I feel like
I'm intrigued.
I feel like the movie came out the same time as the A-Team movie, and I went and saw both, and I was like, I like the losers better. But they were kind of similar.
Yeah.
All right.
No, that one's got me intrigued.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. The next one is Blue Beetle.
Okay.
That's
that
fun.
Character I'm familiar with.
Yep, so that's fun. And then the final one is Constantine. But apparently the Constantine short will be more of like the half an hour one, like A Death in the Family or like the Shazam one.
Okay.
So it's a longer short because they're going to use that to then anchor a release of all the shorts.
Okay. Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah. And I'll always take more Matt Ryan as Constantine.
Yeah. Is he voicing him?
It doesn't say, but I'll bet you
You
he
would
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you dollars to donuts that he is. That's his thing, man. Constantine's going to put his kids through college. I don't know if he has any kids, but it will.
Literally, if I look up to my right, I'm looking at my signed Matt Ryan photo right now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds nice. If I look up to my right, I'm looking at the calendar you bought me for Christmas.
Aw.
Yeah, it's not.
You are welcome.
It's not nearly as dreamy as Matt Ryan. Sorry.
But I am.
But you are. I mean, I'll just put a picture of you in the corner.
Obviously.
Right. That would have been hilarious if you bought me a calendar, but each month was a picture of you.
Well, there's always this Christmas. Actually, not. There's always Christmas too.
It's true. Christmas 2 is coming soon. Okay. So anyway, that'll be cool. I love that they continue to do the shorts. I think they're really fun. That's why I never regret buying buying The Death in the Family or whatever, even if I wasn't crazy about what they did with The Death in the Family. Like, happy to buy it because it keeps those shorts viable, and that way they keep making them.
Yes. Yep. I agree.
Yep. So, and then I'm sure eventually, if you wait long enough, they'll pop up on HBOMax. You can watch them there. I feel like Death in the Family might have already hit HBOMax, if I remember correctly. But there's more and more coming to HBOMax, including the Suicide Squad, which I mentioned earlier. So they did release an HBOMax teaser that like had little clips and snippets of a lot of the movies that are coming. And in there was some. It was kind of the first official in-film footage of the Suicide Squad. Because what we saw
very
before,
brief.
Oh, so quick. But because what we saw prior to this was that behind-the-scenes featurette.
Yeah.
And this it looked like sort of the big triumphant team walking together moment that you get in a lot of these team movies that they did in the first Suicide Squad. Except in this one, to make it different, they're all walking in the rain and Harley's eating an apple.
Yep.
So it's very quick. There's not much to dig into, but it is cool. I'm a sucker for that. Like all these comic book characters walking together in slow motion looking cool. I'm down.
Yeah. No, like I say, it's very, very brief, but what it is did look aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, exactly. I liked it. And I like, again, knowing that we already had a similar moment in the first film, I liked that James Gunn was like, well, how do I give it its own spin? And I like doing it, in the pouring rain. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we also got our first official synopsis of the Suicide Squad. Have you heard this? Have you read this yet?
I don't think. No, I saw the little footage thing, but I haven't read the synopsis.
Okay, so more
take me
more
there.
real-time reactions. Here we go. All right. Me. You need unique New York. You need unique New York. Okay, here we go. Welcome to Hell, a.k.a. Belle Reve, the prison with the highest mortality rate in the U.S. of A., where the worst supervillains are kept and where they will do anything to get out, even join the super secret, super shady Task Force X. Today's do or die assignment: assemble a collection of cons, including Bloodsport, Peacemaker, Captain Boomerang, Ratcatcher 2, Savant, King Shark, Blackguard, Javelin, and everyone's favorite psycho, Harley Quinn. Then arm them heavily and drop them literally on the remote, enemy-infused island of Corto Maltese. Trekking through a jungle teeming with militant adversaries and guerrilla forces at every turn, the squad is on a search and destroy mission with only Colonel Rick Flag on the ground to make them behave, and Amanda Waller's government techies in their ears tracking their every movement. And as always, one wrong move and they're dead, whether at the hands of their opponents, a teammate, or Waller herself. If anyone's laying down bets, the smart money is against them, all of them.
Well, there you go.
There it is. The Suicide Squad. Did we know they were going to... Did they know we were going to Corto Maltese? Did we know that?
I don't know. I
I don't know
remember if
either.
that was mentioned
Yeah.
with the fandom stuff or not, but my ears did prick up when you said that.
Yeah, like that sounds new to me, but I dig it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into that. I don't like that in this little roll call they didn't mention Polka Dot Man. That's not cool.
That's true. There's
But
so many characters.
There
in
are
this
so many,
friggin'
but
movie.
I also feel like this obviously isn't everyone. They call out some of the biggies, and I think they call out some of the cannon fodder too. Like, no offense, I
Yeah.
don't think Javelin's in it for the long haul. I could be wrong, but I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think unlike the first movie where like you kind of knew Slipknot was
Yeah, right.
he was not
wasn't
long for this world.
Jinx.
But I think in this one there's going to be a lot more not survive the movie.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't tell us a ton, but I don't know. I mean, I don't even want to go down this road. You know what it sounds like? Sounds like a sequel
What?
to the Suicide Squad.
It does, doesn't it?
Because, like, it's almost written as if we already have seen the first movie, you know? Like, as always, one wrong move and they're dead, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it you know, we'll see, but it certainly does sound that way.
You are not wrong.
Yeah. But search and destroy. What are they going to search and destroy?
That I don't know.
You know what would be really cool is if they play the song Search and Destroy by 30 Seconds to Mars because Jared Leto played the Joker.
Again, it's like a snake eating its own tail.
Search and destroy. It's a really good song. I'll have you know.
I take your word for it.
Some people hate on 30 Seconds to Mars. No, man, it's good. But,
I can take them or leave them.
all right, well, great. So, all right, fun. That's it. I mean, yeah, sounds good. Sounds like Suicide Squad sequel. August 6th, we'll see more. Trailer any day now.
I was gonna say, like, a trailer can't be far away.
Yeah.
Like, if this was any other year, like, the trailer would have dropped with Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I wonder if they will wait until after Justice League. Because right now that's the big push, you know, or Kong. Like, so it's like they're pushing Godzilla versus Kong, and then Justice League. Like, they don't want to, you know, like
Yeah, that's true.
give it some time.
Yeah.
But it is weird that we haven't
can
gotten
see
an
that.
official trailer. But it's, you know, the whole world is weird right now. Nothing makes sense.
Nope.
All right, sweet. Well, the Suicide Squad coming in August, but we don't have to wait till August to get new DC content, thank goodness. And that is because we know when we are getting to see Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Finally.
Finally. I mean, the word has been March for a while now.
It has.
And that's, you know, so glad to see that is the case because March is in a month. Be here before we know
don't
it.
have to wait long.
Yeah, we won't have to wait long. So yeah, March 18th, 2021, which is like just a week shy of the 5-year anniversary of Batman versus Superman.
Oh shit, it is too. Yeah, because that was the 26th.
Because I thought it was the 25th, but maybe the 25th in the States and 26th for you.
Yeah,
but
something like that.
Yeah, which is weird. It's like if you're that close, like the anniversary, but that's okay. Hey, well, I'll get it a week early. That's fine. I'm happy with that. So. This was announced by Zack Snyder himself on Twitter. He tweeted out 3 different posters to announce the release date of March 18th. So, the first one, he labeled Fallen, and it is the Justice League logo, but all in like broken stone and in black and white. And it says streaming 3/18/21 HBOMax. Then the next one said Risen. And it looks almost like the Nightmare sequence, kind of a post-apocalyptic look, but with a tattered flag with the Justice League logo on it. So that is Risen.
Very reminiscent of the death of Superman.
Yes, absolutely. Very much so. And then the third one says Reborn. And Reborn shows some film canisters with the Justice League logo and some film spilling out, also amongst all the rubble. And all of them say streaming 3/18/21. So, thoughts, feelings, reactions to these posters, images, whatever you want to call them, as they released when they announced the release date of not Suicide Squad, Justice League.
They released the release.
It's been a long week. I warned you. Can't even talk. Can't think. Brain's broken. Mouth's broken. I'm a broken man, Brendan. I don't even remember your name. See, I have no idea what's going on.
Oh,
just sitting here waiting for the sweet release of death.
You just take a minute to compose yourself, and I'll talk about these posters.
I'll be over here. You talk. Pay no attention to the old man in the corner. Just treat me like your grandpa. Just know that I'm over there and just ignore me.
Yeah. Look, I thought the posters were cool. All the images were quite striking. I was really sort of leaning into the black and white motif of this thing, to the point where like I've had people ask like, is it going to be in black and white? I was like, well, I don't know. No, I wouldn't imagine. The release date, I mean, yeah, look, I'm just happy that it's confirmed. We were all sort of thinking March, as you said, but to actually have that date is exciting. It's I'd be a little bit more excited if they can hurry up and announce international details for it. Because, like, obviously at Fandom, Zack did say they're working out international release for it. I just want to know how and when I can see it. I mean, look, I know how I can see it on the 8th, which would be 19th for us. But obviously I want to give them my money and watch it legally. And I would just like to get that information, that I can be a little bit more, not that I'm not pumped for it, but you know what I mean, I can be officially pumped for it. But yeah, I was happy with the images. My favourite was the one with the tattered flag, I think, just because it did remind me so much of the Death of Superman classic image, which obviously is relevant coming into this movie. So yeah, just really excited to finally get this thing. It's still hard to believe that we're actually getting it, but we are, and it's just over a month away.
Yeah, before we know it, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, like the images themselves I thought were fine, but what I appreciated was the story they told. Mm-hmm. How it really, like, it's the story of the movie, just Fallen, how like they were gonna make this movie and then it all fell apart. And then Risen, and I feel like the flag is, the flag is the fans, right? They planted a flag in the ground and demanded it, and then Reborn is that now the movie finally gets to see the light of day, finally gets to be shown, which I think is pretty awesome too.
Yeah, that's the most meta one, obviously, the one with the film.
Yeah.
The film canister, yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's like the broken Justice League is the first one. The fact that it's, they put the flag in the ground for the second, and then yes, now the film canisters see the light of day in the third. Yeah. But I dig it. Like you said, yeah, I mean, it's nice to finally just get confirmation for the release date. I'm just excited we'll get to see it. And yeah, I hope we get other posters too, like some Zack Snyder approved posters that I think are thematically
I want
appropriate for the
individual
movie.
character ones.
Oh, heck yeah.
Because, I mean, look, despite if you like, pardon me, the Justice League movie or not, some of those individual character posters were friggin' awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked them too.
Actually, all the posters for that movie were really cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, I want them to market it like any big movie, so we can feel that excitement all over again for the rebirth of the Justice League movie.
Definitely.
So, we get to see all our favorite characters, and we're going to get a chance to see the Joker again.
We are.
Yeah. So, I think it was yesterday? All the days run together, but I think it was yesterday. Zack Snyder teased his take on Jared Leto's Joker. So it's an image of a Joker card, and then Jared Leto is very out of focus in the background in the Joker makeup. And so Zack tweeted this out, and he said, "Amazing character you created to David Ayer movies. Honored to have our worlds collide." So obviously Zack Snyder is referencing, the version of the Joker that Jared Leto and David Ayer created together. Not obviously they didn't create the Joker, but and then I just saw a little bit of that online of like, they didn't create the Joker. I'm like, you know what he means.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
What he means.
Yeah.
It's just worth saying out loud. It's obvious what he meant. But I love the tease, but it's truly a tease because I'm like, I just want to see what it looks like, because it does look like this Joker will have a new look for this movie. And I love that we get to revisit it. I've said it 100 times, is I liked Jared Leto's Joker, but I think that there was, there was more to see, or there was more that he could have done. And
there was literally more to see.
Yeah, right.
It all got cut.
So I love that this is being incorporated into Justice League. I'm so excited about it. And yeah, like, what a fun tease, but mostly I'm just like, I want to see it. I want to see it now.
Yeah. It very, like, if you'd have told me that this was Joaquin Phoenix, I'd have believed you. Like, it's kind of got that look to it as well.
Uh-huh.
A little bit. Like, yeah, it looks like he's got longer hair.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, I don't know. It's very. It could be Heath Ledger. It could be Joaquin Phoenix. It could be Jared Leto. It doesn't give you a lot except anticipation, which is obviously what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, I do wonder if they'll hold off on it, like, until, like, if we'll actually get to see what he looks like before the movie hits.
Oh man. I mean, I say hold it back.
Like,
we're this close.
My mind goes back. Yeah, my mind goes back to that first full trailer for The Dark Knight, and they do that sort of, what it was called, like a smash cut or whatever, and that's like the first shot, like proper shot we got of Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a moment like that, but in film.
Yeah. For sure.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how much of the Ayer aesthetic they keep, how much they get rid of. I'll be very curious to see what this evolution of this Joker looks like, but I'm excited about it. So,
yeah,
I think that's awesome. Along those same lines, and this actually came a couple days ago, Zack Snyder also tweeted out an image of Cyborg flying, but with a quote that says, "There's a war coming," from Martian Manhunter. So a Martian Manhunter quote of "There's a war coming," and this is the Cyborg flying shot, but it's the one where he has like the full face covering and
yeah,
kind of
the first trailer.
Yeah, exactly. So there was that too. And then he also tweeted out on a huge movie screen a picture of Diana standing in like the temple looking at that arrow in the ground. And it just says #Snyder Cut.
Starting to ramp up.
I know. So it is coming. Interesting that he chose a quote from Martian Manhunter. There's a war coming. So
Yes.
I'm so curious as to how that's gonna all play out. But there it is. And then I feel like the Diana image is a very cool image. But there's not much else to go on that. It's not actually all that different from what we saw in the movie, if I remember correctly.
No, I don't think so. No.
But it's ramping up. It's coming. And then we found out yesterday it will indeed be rated R.
Not surprising.
Yes, and
I mean the ultimate edition of BVS was, well, your R is our MA 15 plus. So same thing, that's what the ultimate edition of BVS was rated, so I'm not surprised that this is going to be along those lines as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not surprising. But there's been a little bit of like anything around this movie, or heck, any DC movie for that matter. There was plenty of disagreement about this. I am kind of with there's a group of fans who've said this, so it's certainly, I didn't come up with it, but I agree with it. It was like, you know what, when this movie was coming out in 2017, when it was coming out in theaters, the first Justice League movie, if it had been rated R, I would have been like, that's a bad decision. That's a bad call. For the first Justice League movie to be released rated R, that's not a great idea. So for everybody who says that, I get it. And for the fans who go, gosh, like there's no reason for a Justice League movie to be rated R, I get that too. Like I'm not gonna attack them or be too harsh on them, because I get that perspective. I totally get where they're coming from. But for this, because of this circumstance, because of this movie, right? Like the whole thing is they gave Zack Snyder full freedom to go, okay, now finish your movie however you want to do it. After everything you've been through, after everything that happened with the movie, do it your way, and we're just going to let you do it your way. Well, guess what? That's the whole point of this thing. That's the whole point of this exercise. Zack Snyder's Justice League, he gets to make the movie he always wanted to make. If that movie is rated R, so be it, Can't wait to see it. But so like that's where I'm at, where I'm like you said, it's not surprising, kind of expected. I get the people who don't think it's necessary, totally get that. But for this, if that's the movie he wants to make, great. Let him make his movie. Can't wait to see it. Interested to see what happens in it that would be considered R-rated. But yeah, it's his call. It's his party. I'm happy to be invited and to see how it turns out.
Absolutely agree.
Well,
Can't
great.
really add anything else to it,
Glad we could fight about this.
Well, what's the point? The rest of the internet's doing it for us. Like,
right? Right? It's just kind of like, we're so tired. I'm just like, okay. Someone's like, there's no way this should be rated R. I'm like, okay. And then the other side is like, he has every right to make it rated R. And I'm like, okay. That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
I agree.
I wanted to tweet it out, but I didn't even want to welcome the attention, where I wanted to be like, tiny tidbit about Zack Snyder's Justice League. See, I can't talk. Zack Snyder's Justice League is revealed. Half of fandom hates it blindly. Other half supports it blindly. Another day on Twitter,
Yeah.
Nothing changes.
You are not wrong, sir.
But again, for me, I'm like, let him make his movie. It's fine. I look forward to seeing it. And as I think as you said, and as many other folks have said, is like, it's going to be R-rated the same way the BVS Ultimate Cut was R-rated. A couple little moments where you go, okay, I guess, but it isn't going to be a porno, but there is a way to find those if that's what you're interested in.
Oh yeah. So I hear.
That's what I hear. I mean, there's
Yeah.
rumors, but I wouldn't.
At least that's what I've heard.
That's what I've heard. It's true. This man has no dick.
See, I knew you knew what I was saying there.
Yeah.
This is one of my friends.
Well, that's what I heard. Okay. So anyway, yep, R-rated, 4 hours, crazy. Oh man, what day is the 18th? Is it a Friday?
I believe so. Yes.
Oh, it's a Thursday.
Oh, it's Friday for us.
Friday for us. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to hunker down and just dive in, you know?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. R-rated 4-hour Justice League. If that's your bag, baby, then Christmas 2 is coming
It is coming.
on March 18th. If it's not your bag, baby, that's okay too. We still love you.
Don't watch it. Simple.
Yeah. Watch Godzilla vs. Kong, which also looks totally cool.
It does.
You know, I'm really into it. I think it looks awesome. Cool. Okay, well, R-rated Justice League. Terrific. We're going to watch it in a month and a week. Well, a little over that. A month and 2 weeks. But looking forward to it. But more news as it comes. But I think that's where we'll stop the news for today. That was plenty. And I'm impressed with how we got through it, my friend.
Yeah, there's been a hell of a lot.
Look
So it
at
happens
us.
when we don't record for like
Look at
a
us
couple
go.
of days.
It was, yeah, it hasn't even been a full 2 weeks. It was just last weekend was busy. And then I was like, well, now we can actually do it. So,
Yeah.
cool. All right, great. Well, more news will come. We will be back soon, but we can't completely sign off until we crack open the Wayne Manor mailbox. It's time again for the Wayne Manor mailbox.
You've got mail.
What is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger. This is all, Master Wayne.
All right, this email comes from Cameron James. I think he might be James Cameron. He might be. I'm looking forward to
might
Avatar
be.
2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, personally. I think they sound fun. Okay, here's what he says. He says, hey, guys, Batman from Australia. Oh, he's not James Cameron. He's Batman. He's Australian Batman. He says, I'm pretty new to the podcast, but I'm really enjoying it. I started listening a few random episodes at first, but then I went back from the start, and now I'm catching up. Wow. He says, it's cool hearing you guys speculate about things that have now happened several years ago. You've gotten a lot right. I wasn't going to write until I was better caught up, but today I listened to an old episode where you mentioned Sweet Tooth, which brings me to my question. Have you seen...
Jesus.
Sweet Tooth, hell yeah. It says, have you seen Holy Musical Batman? Sweet Tooth is the main villain, although there are other rogues in the show. If you're not familiar, it's a not-for-profit fan musical made about 10 years ago. It's comedy, but in my opinion, it's not mocking the characters as much as it's a reverent send-up. It's free on YouTube, and I would definitely recommend it if you've got the time. Thanks for the great content. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to catching up on your episodes. Cameron. Thank you, Cameron. Nice to have another Aussie on to keep Brendan company so he doesn't feel so lonely all the time. But I have not seen this. I have not heard of it. But the fact that Sweet Tooth is the main villain is kind of brilliant, and I'm into that.
Yeah. I can't say that I like that character at all, but I am intrigued.
Yeah, Sweet Tooth. All right, let's move on. Next email is from James McGee. It says, hey guys, congrats to Andy and Brendan for all the good news, and it was great to hear Jamie back. My first question is, if Superman and Homelander had a fight, who would win? Second question, if there was a movie where Batman teamed up with Rorschach, who would you like to see them team up against? Thanks for everything you do. Keep up the good work, and long live the BatCast. Thanks, James. So, Superman and Homelander, Brendan, who wins?
Well, obviously Superman. Superman's got to win that fight.
Yeah.
But, Superman, all he'd have to do is sort of try and sneak up on him when he's jerking off on the city and just laser him in the back of the head or something like.
Now, but would it work? Like, would Homelander?
I would think so.
I feel like Homelander might, like they might be like evenly matched in power level.
I don't know. Or he could cut off his appendage.
I mean, I want Superman to win, so I'm going to say Superman. Superman finds a way to win. And I hope that's how the series ends, because Homelander needs to get his.
Oh, yes.
What a great villain, but oh my God. Like, oh.
Yeah. He's such a bastard.
He's such a bastard. And then Batman teaming up with Rorschach, who are they going up against?
You'd want there'd need to be some sort of conspiracy story in there.
Yeah. I feel like you want to go more street level detective, because of Rorschach.
Yeah, I want to say the Riddler. Not sort of not the Frank Gorshin Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe more like the Arkham Asylum Riddler, something like that, or even more like what we're going to, from what we've seen of that trailer, like potentially what we're going to get in the Batman, just to sort of bring in that real, like conspiracy theory, like Batman and Rorschach need to have like the pin board up with like string going everywhere, and do we need to have two, or is the Riddler enough?
Nah, that's fine. I'd watch that.
Yeah.
I was thinking Black Mask and Professor Pig.
Okay.
Because they're just a little, they are street level. They're not too supernatural, but they're both a little weird. And I could see, that fitting almost into more of a Watchmen vibe.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Black Mask being sort of the organized crime, and then Professor Pig being sort of the psychopath doing gross stuff that Rorschach would get all worked up about.
No, that's true.
It's
actually, I could see that, but I don't like that character.
Okay. All right. Next message is from Scott Brown. It says, "Hey, just wanted to thank you for all that you guys do, and to second Jamie's recommendation of Frank Miller's The Last Crusade. I read it after he mentioned it on your recent catch-up episode, and I loved it. It's a one-shot, quick read, and it tells a story unlike any in the Millerverse canon. If you haven't read it, you really should. Take care, Scott." Awesome. Thanks, Scott. I haven't read it, but I need to look it up on DC Universe Infinite. Check it out then. Brendan?
Yeah.
No.
I haven't read it, so.
All right, well, forget it. All right. Next message is from Mark Bickford. It says, "Dear Andy, Jamie, Brendan, and the spy from Disney who's pretending to wash Andy's windows." Was that this show, or was it Disorder, where you could hear the window guy washing my windows?
Oh, I can't remember. Might have been this one?
I can't remember, but yeah. Anyway,
that
yes,
does
that was
sound
something.
familiar. That I think I was on that episode.
Okay.
So, yeah, I want to say this one.
Anyway, he says, "Happy New Year. Congrats to Brendan and his wife. I hope everything goes wonderfully, and I hope Holy BatCast is still around in 10 or so years, so you can tell us how your child has found the one thing guaranteed to drive his or her parents insane by becoming a sports nut."
Hey, look, I like sports, so that's fine.
All right. Going back to the animated Disney characters as the Justice League question.
Oh, God, this is the email that just keeps on giving, isn't it?
I know. It says, for Cyborg, was there ever an animated version of the computer wore tennis shoes? That seems like a no-brainer. I don't think there was an animated version, but yeah, that could be Cyborg.
Yeah.
He says, "Have you ever seen the episode?"
This boy could be the Shaggy Dog.
See. He says, "Have you ever seen the episode of Space Ghost Coast to Coast titled Bat Mantis? If not, it's on HBOMax, and it's short, and I think you'll enjoy it. It's a hidden gem of bat lore. Last time I wrote, you said you didn't watch DC Daily. Some of the episodes may be floating around on YouTube. If you can find them, I very much recommend the 2-part interviews with Andrea Romano from the time of her retirement, and the 2 where they interviewed Michael Uslan, who has perhaps lived the ultimate Bat fan's life even before he bought the rights to Batman. The second show with Andrea, she was on the couch with the panel. The panel did, as they did several times on the show, a read-through using a portion of a comic book as a script. Once they finished, Andrea said, "That was very nice. May I direct you?" And we got to actually see her work with them. Excellent thing to watch. Speaking of directors, I really liked the interview you did with Kevin Altieri from Batman the Animated Series, but I think there was one major question you missed. Like, what does a director of animation do? Andrea would have been the one working with the human actors. He's obviously not yelling action and cut, so what does the job actually entail? That was the one thing I was waiting for. Otherwise, it was great. Okay, this has gotten long. Take care. Hope all things go well, Mark. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
All right, great. Well, I mean, I would imagine that the director of animation very much kind of, they oversee the staging of the shots the same way a live action director would do it. They just do it through storyboards and animation. So they're like, no, this one we need to get in closer on Batman pulling out that clue from the desk. Or this one we need a wider shot with Batman up on top of the roof. Or, oh, here we want to keep Catwoman in the shadows until she walks into the moonlight. That's what a director does regardless. He just doesn't do it with live action. He does it with animation. Or at least that's the way I would see it. Working with all of the artists who are making those shots and moments happen.
Yeah. You've done more about it than me.
Well, okay, great. All right. Next message is from Angel. It says, "Hey, I've been listening to Holy BatCast for several years after being introduced to you on the old Modern Myth media. I've always enjoyed your positive and hopeful take on DC. So what's Warner's problem with Snyder? They hired him, approved his scripts, and bankrolled his films, and then cut up his vision and put out inferior cuts of his films when his actual vision is clearly better and wanted by his fans to the tune of $600 to $800 million. No, they haven't grossed as much as Marvel, but at any other metric, they are among the highest-earning films of all time. If they had been disappointed at the return on investment, I think his ceiling is $800 million, then why not cap the budget at, say, $150 million? They market his films to adults and older teens, and that removes the pressure to turn the action down and appeal to younger kids. Hire management, directors, and actors that are actually excited about working on superhero films and forget those that are above it or don't get it. It's annoying to see actors in interviews that seem like they're in a hostage video when promoting a DC film. I really hope Zack's Justice League cut explodes on HBOMax and forces them to reconsider working with him. Sorry for the long email." All right, Angel. Thanks for the long email. Brendan, you want to share any thoughts?
I don't know. I feel like we've kind of discussed this ad nauseum anyway. I think it might have even been the last episode we had a really lengthy discussion about this, like pretty much the same thing. Which is why we had to cut the email section short last time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, we've gone over it many times. I will just say this, like, they should have committed one way or the other. And I think that's where a lot of the problem lied. Is like, you hire Zack Snyder, you give him this budget, and then you're like, oh no, we don't like what he's doing. Well, then you shouldn't have hired him. Like, you know, like if you don't like what he does, don't hire him. If you do like what he does, support him. And I think that because there was a lot of wishy-washy back and forth throughout that process, that's what runs into these problems where you get compromised visions, you get compromised films, and you get a lot of drama behind the scenes. And that's not fun for anybody. I do agree that I think that, like, capping the budgets and controlling the budgets would have gone a long way. Because, though, if you're investing $250 million in a Batman versus Superman movie, that's why you're disappointed in an $860 million worldwide take. Like, that's why. If it had cost $150, it'd have been purely profitable. So I think you make some valid points in here. I mean, it's nice to see some justice be done with Zack Snyder's Justice League. And it will be very interesting to see where things go from there. Okay, great. Next message is from Tom Fallows. It says, "Hey guys, I just read 3 Jokers, and I was wondering, out of all the live-action Jokers, which one would fit each of the individual Jokers?" Thanks again, Tom Fallows. What do you think, Brendan, if you were going to cast those 3 Jokers?
I need to reread it. And I actually got the hardcover trade the other day, so I haven't reread it yet.
Yeah. So what is there? There's the gangster,
Christ, I'm
the
trying to
comedian, the gangster, the criminal, the criminal, the comedian, and the prankster,
Clown.
the clown. Okay, so I think Cesar Romero. Cesar Romero's the clown.
Yeah.
Don't you
I
think?
think. Yes, that was going to be my pick for the clown. So it was clown, criminal, and what was the other one?
Comedian.
I think the criminal's Heath,
Yeah, I agree.
and Jack.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I think, yeah.
Criminal is Heath, comedian is Jack, clown is Cesar Romero. Yeah. I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah. I don't think there's. Yeah, I think that's got to be it.
Okay. Awesome. All right, next message from our pal Lee Ankrit. It says, hey, I hope everyone is safe and well. In an imaginary multiverse showdown between all of the on-screen versions of Batman, which version do you think would win in a fight and win in a drag race in their Batmobile? I'd give the fight to either Keaton for his unique ability to hide around corners and backfist enemy faces, or Battinson because he looks brutal. I'd give the race to Batfleck, but only because I don't think he'd play fair to win. Well, okay, fun question. So, okay, of all the Batmen, who would win in a fight? I'd say Batfleck.
Okay, I'm not including Pattinson yet, just because we haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
But it's Batfleck by a
It's
mile.
Batfleck. It's gotta be.
He would destroy all of them. It's
He's-
not even close.
He's a beast. Yeah, for sure. Okay, and then the
in terms of
Batmobile.
the drag race.
Yeah, Batmobile.
Look, I think it's gonna be between the Tumbler and the Batfleck Batmobile.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, I mean, look, as much as I want 89 to win everything, it's not the fastest car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
It's quite slow. But yeah, just based on what you see on screen. Oh yeah, I don't know. I really can't get the struck match between the Tumbler and the Batfleck Batmobile.
I know. I'm totally with you on this. I even lean towards the Batfleck Batmobile. I feel like watching the movies, it seems to be faster.
Yeah, it's not sort of as a little bit more sort of sleek.
Yeah.
Less tankish. Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think you got to go with the Batfleck one.
Right. Okay. So Batfleck for both. Sorry, Lee. That doesn't mean they're my... I mean, I like Batfleck, but like, yeah, for those questions, I'll go with that. I think the Tumbler would put up a good race, though.
It would. I mean, it could always, go on rooftop and take a shortcut, so...
Right. He's jumping on rooftops. All right, you're going to love this next question, Brendan. This is from Carl. It says, hey, Holy BatCast family, if you had to go back in time and relive a movie event, would it be Batmania in 1989, or would it be the original Star Wars trilogy in 1977, 1980, and 1983, or even Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, in 1999?
Oh, jeez. That's a tough one.
It's a tough one for you. You're so torn.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one on a Batman podcast.
Yeah. I was about to say the same thing. It's a Batman podcast. So I don't have a Star Wars podcast. Isn't that your answer?
Gonna have to go 89.
Yeah.
Look, I did live it, but I was too young to really appreciate it and understand what was going on, because for me it was an introduction to the character. Yeah, I'd love to go. I'd sort of love to be... Actually, I would have loved to have been the age I was when Batman Forever came out. Sort of 11 and a half, when Batman 89 came out, just to sort of have that same hype, but for the 89 movie.
Okay. Heck yeah. Cool. Yeah, like you said, it's a Batman podcast. Can always pick Batman. Sorry. Next email is from our good friend, one of our favorites, Michael Lyons.
Michael's written in.
He wrote into BatCast. It's a very special day.
Wow. As my wife says, God bless Michael Lyons.
God bless Michael Lyons. All right. He says, "Hey, Bat friends. I'm just catching up on my podcast, and I listened to your Wonder Woman 1984 episode and the Q&A episode. I really enjoyed them both, and as always, I really enjoyed the movie. While you did touch on some major conversations and controversies about the film, you glossed over one major controversy, and that is it a July 4th or a Christmas movie?" Might I suggest a solution? I plan on watching the film on July 25th for Christmas in July. In the words of Maui, you're welcome. Keep up the great work. Now I'm off to watch a Mr. Freeze episode of Batman 66 to celebrate January. Your disorderly bat friend, Michael Lyons. I love it. Christmas in July is a perfect solution, but I mean, it's more of a 4th of July movie, I think. Don't you think?
Look, I mean, well, obviously we don't have 4th of July.
It's great.
To me,
We celebrate
it's one of those-
America.
To me, it's one of those movies where it's an evergreen. It's not tied to any particular thing. I mean, I'm sorry, but the fact that people are claiming it's a Christmas movie because there's like a 2-minute Christmas scene at the end, that's bullshit. It's an all-year movie. It's not a holiday movie, in my opinion. But look, you do you. If you want to watch it for the 4th of July, great. If you want to watch it for Christmas, great. Just watch it because you like the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. I think it's a Batman movie that happens to sort of be set at the Christmas period, but it's not a Christmas movie.
Okay, well.
And I know we disagree on that.
Well, I will say Batman Returns is more of a Christmas movie than Wonder Woman 1984 is a Christmas or a 4th of July movie.
I will agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, a Christmas movie doesn't come out in the summer.
For you, a Christmas movie is only about Christmas, right?
Yes.
I get that.
A Christmas movie to me is something that, like, I would feel weird watching, like, Elf in April.
Yeah.
You know? Whereas, you know, I could watch Batman Returns, Die Hard's another one. I could watch them any time of the year, which to me doesn't make them a Christmas movie exclusive.
Right. All right. Great. I mean, that fireworks scene is so good in Wonder Woman 1984 that I'm like, well, this should be 4th of July. So I might, and especially because I don't have that many 4th of July options, it might sneak its way in there. But it's not so overtly 4th of July that, you know, that, like, I'll watch it every year, like Independence Day or even Captain America.
I was just about to say, if I was American and celebrated 4th of July, Independence Day without a doubt would be a yearly event for me.
Oh, I mean, every 4th of July I watch Independence Day and Jaws, and usually Captain America: The First Avenger.
Cool.
All right. Next message is from Lewis. It says, "Hey, Bat Dudes, if Batman the Animated Series is revived on HBOMax, what would you like to see change, and what would you like to see stay the same? I'd like to see the style format remain largely the same, but the content to shift to a more PG-13 tone rather than PG. More edgy characters like Deathstroke. The fights could be mildly more intense, and every other episode you don't need to see Batman gassed by a villain. Not to say it should turn into a full action show like a DCAU movie. Focus should remain on drama, mystery, and noir. Oh, and maybe Two-Face could be redesigned to look less like a fish. Best to you, Lewis." What do you think, Brendan?
We kind of touched on this last time too. Like, my big thing is I want it to be the series 1 to 3 style. Forget that season 4 crap. Yeah, I mean, I can understand potentially going to like a PG-13, but I don't know, like you don't want to push it too far because then it's not Batman the Animated Series. Um, it's really like I'd like to obviously see some different characters in there, but I'd like it to kind of just be more of the same. Just pretend that it's what 1997, 98.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep making them the way that you were.
Yeah. I agree.
That's the only thing I really want.
Yeah, I agree. Like I want to be able to watch it if it happens. I want to be able to watch it and it feels just like an extension of the original series. I want the animation to be the same. I want the designs to be the same. Like you said, I agree. Do the original designs, not the redesign. Definitely introduce new characters. I think that's awesome. Like especially especially since we've got 25 more, almost 30 years? Yeah, almost 30 years. Almost 30 more years of content to pull from, So yeah, have some fun with the Court of Owls and with, a
Batman the Animated Series version of Black Mask would be cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like bring in some characters you never got around to the first time. But yeah, I don't need it to be more extreme or more PG-13. Like I like the tone of Batman the Animated Series the way it is.
Like I always liked the episode, particularly as I got older. Actually, like the episodes that sort of focused more on the like your Rupert Thornes and stuff like that. Like it's Never Too Late. Even the Two-Face two-parter, like the sort of the crime lord aspect of that. Like do a two-parter that involves, I don't know, like a war between Black Mask and Rupert Thorne, or something like that. Like that'd be amazing. Like yeah,
for sure. Cool. Well, strangely, the next email is also asked something about this. So here, this is from Marcio. It says, "Greetings, old chums. Thanks for the Batman 66 commentary. I love that episode. Love the episode. It was the first time ever that I watched them. And then when they said a bell is peeled and an orange is peeled, I had to look it up. So peal, a ringing of a set of bells, or a set of bells tuned to each other, like a chime. Definitely something we don't hear very often. Also, who does Commissioner Gordon think Alfred is? Who always picks up the phone? Bat assistant? Bat receptionist? Moving on, about the possible revival of Batman the Animated Series, do you think they would give it a long story arc throughout the season to make it bingeable rather than standalone episodes, like Young Justice or The Adventures Continue comics? Finally, if you had to choose, would you prefer an animated series or a live-action Batman TV show? We haven't seen Batman recurrently on the small screen since Adam West, as I don't think you can count Titans or Gotham. I love the animated series, but I wonder why is it so hard to make a live-action Batman show when we've had so many Superman shows, which I also love. Sorry for the long email. Keep the bat signal shining bright, Marcio. Okay, Marcio. Well, first, I'm glad you liked our Batman 66 episode. And if you watch the show, there's an episode where they address who they think Alfred is. Do you remember this, Brendan?
Not off the top of my head, no.
So there's an episode, and I distinctly remember it because I thought it was such a clever thing, where Commissioner Gordon can't get a hold of Batman, or he's worried about Batman, or he knows that Batman is in trouble, or something where he knows Batman's not available. And he's like, I don't know what to do. And Chief O'Hara goes, well, what about the voice? And Commissioner Gordon goes, what do you mean the voice? He goes, sometimes when we call Batman, there's a voice that says, one moment. What about the voice? And they call the bat signal, or not the bat signal, excuse me, the bat phone. Alfred picks up, and Alfred's like, I'm sorry, Commissioner, he's unavailable. And Commissioner's like, oh, I know, I need to talk to you. Batman's in trouble. And it was like they called Alfred for help, not knowing who he was, but just knowing that there was someone else there.
Okay, that does sound familiar now that you mention it.
It was really cool because they addressed it, yeah.
I watched the episode last week where Alfred has to don the bat costume.
Oh my god.
As a stand-in for Batman, which is so
I love
funny.
it. It's ridiculous. I love it.
This lanky Brit in the bat costume.
Yeah, and it's just hanging off of him.
Another mustache painted over as well.
Yep. And then what do you think? What if they made the animated series bingeable?
Ooh, I'm not opposed to it. But I don't know with that one. I'm torn because I do love a good binge, but I also love the one and done format of Batman the Animated Series. I wouldn't mind, two-parters or even like a three-parter. Sometimes like Justice League used to do, like they had the odd three-parter in there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know if I'd want the whole thing to be bingeable, but maybe a few extended stories that cover 2 to 3 episodes would be okay.
Yeah. I agree with you. Like, of course I would watch it if it was all connected. That would be fine. But I do think part of the magic of the original show are those standalone stories, those standalone episodes. But to your point, yeah, like a two-parter, awesome, because some of the best ones were two-parters. Two-Face, hello. So maybe more two-parters, or like you said, even a three-parter, because then it's almost like a little movie. I think that's great. But yeah, I think I still like the standalone adventures or stories.
I think that's one of the ones where it's a fine line, but if you cross it, you're kind of moving away from what makes the show the show.
Yeah.
But it is a very fine line.
And then finally, you can choose a new Batman animated series or a new live action series. What do you pick?
Look, I'm gonna go animated, and not because of the talk of the animated series revival, just because, like I said last episode, it's been 7 or 8 years since there's been a Batman cartoon period. It's been longer since there's been a good Batman cartoon period. It's tricky with the live action Batman TV show because, like, I know Superman, you've got like your flying effects and stuff like that. I don't know. I just think I feel like we've had a Batman show. I mean, I know Gotham wasn't a Batman show, but I really want another Batman cartoon, and I don't know. I just think the logistics of trying to pull off a good quality Batman show, I don't think you could do it CW. It would need to be like a HBO thing, but then it gets to sort of the point, I guess, where it's like, we'll just make a really cool Batman movie. Look, I'm not opposed to a live action Batman series. I think I'm one of the people that do hope the bullshit rumors are true, and and Affleck's gonna do a mini series on HBO. Like, I would be first in line to watch that. But yeah, I'm gonna lean towards the animated series at this stage.
Yeah, I actually agree. I mean, I of course would not, I would not complain about either, because I can always take more Batman content, but there's, it's a trade-off, right? Like, we continue to get Superman shows because we're not getting Superman movies. So it's great that we get more Superman on the small screen, but we're missing him on the big screen, and that stinks. And Batman's the exact opposite, as we get shows in the world of Batman that aren't really quite Batman shows, because there's always a Batman movie in development. Like, there hasn't been a Batman movie out of development since 1989. So that's why. So yeah, I'm with you. I would say give me another animated series. I'm all for it, because guess what? I'm going to see a new Batman movie very soon, and I'm going to see a Flash movie that's going to have Batman in it very soon. So, yeah.
I mean, the other thing is too, I mean, they're not Batman shows, but I mean, all the CW shows, stuff like The Boys, the Marvel shows, like, there's a shit ton of live action comic book shows. Whereas back in the day it was Lois and Clark, and that was it. Whereas now, aside from, in terms of what I watch, Young Justice and Harley Quinn, like, that's kind of it in terms of like an ongoing series. And we have to wait quite a while between seasons for those things too. So that's another reason why I'm leaning towards the animated, just because there's so many live action comic book shows now. An animated one would actually be a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, it's true too. All right, cool. We'll do one more email, then I'll let you go to bed, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. This is from Brian. It says, "Hey guys, I hope you're well. Do you think the WB will ask Danny Elfman to score the Flash movie? To me, it would only make sense since Michael Keaton is back as Batman, and his Batman theme is so iconic, and Elfman kind of sort of laid the groundwork for a Flash theme in Justice League. He also did the theme for the 90s Flash TV series. Take care, Brian DeMasso." Thanks, Brian. So what do you think? Danny Elfman scoring the Flash?
Look, you're much more the score guy than I am, but I think logistically it makes sense. Because as you were reading the email out, the first thought I had was, well, he's kind of already laid the groundwork for a Flash score, which was fine. There were some questionable choices made in his Justice League score, but I thought the Flash element of it was not one of them. It worked really well.
Yeah, I actually liked it, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact that he kind of worked in his Batman theme in that movie, there's a little part of me that was like, that's cool, but then there was the bigger part of me that's like, yeah, different Batman. Same with the Superman theme being sort of twisted in there. I'm like, yeah, it's fan service, but it doesn't fit this version of the character. But if you're bringing Keaton back and he can go balls to the wall his Batman theme, I mean, who doesn't want to hear that again in the cinema? And then he can also incorporate his Flash music, which was cool. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with you. Like, I liked what he did in Justice League. Like, I was excited just to hear the Batman theme again and a little bit of the Superman theme. But you're right, it was a little weird because you're like, well, it's not them. It's not the same.
Particularly the Superman one. Like, the Batman one, at least it was a triumphant moment. The Superman one, they weave it in when he's like, they're fighting him. He's still kind of like under the influence.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. It wasn't a heroic moment.
Yeah. But definitely, like, you know, for the return of Michael Keaton's Batman, even if Elfman doesn't score the film, you still need to use his theme for the return of that Batman. Like, you need to. And like you said, I liked what the little Flash theme he came up with for Injustice League. So I'm all for it. I think it would be great. Who knows if it will happen, but it would make sense for it to happen.
Yeah.
If you have Michael Keaton's Batman Return and you don't use that theme, like, that's a miss.
That's a sin.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, we are going to close the mailbox because it is late for Brendan. But Brendan, thanks still for staying up and recording with me.
That's okay. Anytime. You know that. As long as it's not too late on a work night.
I know. It is a school night. But for those out there, we still have some more emails to get to. We'll get to them next time. And if you've got a question or an email for the Wayne Manor mailbox, you can send that to Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com. But that's where we'll wrap up this episode of the show. I'm amazed, Brendan, at how much ground we covered in just over 90 minutes.
Look, you know, when
it can be done.
It can be done.
I almost don't believe it.
We'll believe it. We did it. We're here. Damn. We're done.
Oh, and guess what else I forgot to say? Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Or should I say happy birthday?
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was my birthday on Monday. I got a few little Batman goodies, which was nice. I got the Three Jokers trade from my sister-in-law, and Jess gave me a really nice Batman the Animated Series Poison Ivy bust.
Yeah, that's cool.
A friend gave me the Batman Forever soundtrack on vinyl. And I also got a little Batman 66 action figure as well.
Sweet. Well.
And a little birdie tells me that on the weekend when I see my family, I will be getting my Batman and Robin Poison Ivy Funko Pop to complete my Burton Schumacher shelf.
Score.
Of my collection. Yeah.
Well, guess what else is coming your way? 2 Hot Toys Batman Forever figures.
Mate, if someone's going to buy them for me, I won't say no, that's
They're
for sure.
on their way. I just hit send. You'll get them in about 18 months. You're welcome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
If they don't show up, it's totally the mail's fault. But I definitely just
look.
paid for them and sent them to you.
That's right. I know someone who can look into that.
Worth every penny. Okay, well, glad you could join. Glad you had a good birthday week. Glad you got some Batman goodies. Tell our friends where they can keep up with you.
You can follow me on Twitter at Loey007, my podcast, The Nightlight, at NightlightPod, Facebook.com/TheNightlight, and TheNightlight.podbean.com.
Sweet. All right, go give Brendan a follow. But that'll do it. Thank you guys, as always, for joining. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for downloading the show. We appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you. Please just subscribe so you never miss an episode. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. And as Michael Keaton's Batman says, I don't think I've ever been in this room before. No, tell all your friends about me. Visit holybatcast.com. Find Holy BatCast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And again, if you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, you can send that to holybatcast@rf4rm.com. On behalf of Brendan, I've been Andy. This has been Holy BatCast. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Holy BatCast is brought to you by real fans for real movies. Remember, the thoughts and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone, and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.
Lovely.
Well, great.